and Jeff, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to show you how I painted this semi-abstract landscape painting. It was just from my imagination with a river and foreground detail and hedgerows in the distance. You can see it was done on quite wet and wet, quite loose, and I used granulation fluid in the foreground to let that drip down. So I'll show you the process. So I've used all Daniel Smith paints, Aussie Red Gold for the yellow, Rhodonite Genuine for the pink, Hematite Genuine for brown, and Mayan Blue. I wet the paper just so the sky can blend together, because when you add watercolour to damp paper it tends to merge and you don't get as many hard lines. So I'm just doing the distant trees now, using that dark sort of Hematite Genuine and a bit of blue as well mixed in, and the pink, and then I'm just going to introduce that yellow because that yellow comes down into the foreground as well, so it's nice to just repeat colours throughout the painting. I'm just darkening here because I know that watercolour on top of damp paper always dries lighter, so if you go that little bit darker where you want to, and I wanted that contrast against that lovely yellow. So this is the riverbank going in with a bit of the blue over the top to make green. I'm working on dry paper here. I do add a bit of water now just to sort of blend that in a little bit more. If you have a little bit more control when it's dry paper, you can get those harder lines, which I'm showing the reflections of in the water. I'm reflecting the colours that are in the sky. If you leave white paper as well when you're doing water, that tends to help bring in those reflections or suggestions of reflections. So I'm just introducing darker colour to the foreground. I want those really rich colours because this is where the granulation fluid is going to go on, which I'm doing now. So I'm just going to pipette that on and tilt and just hope for the best. So I'm just feeding it onto the darker areas tend to work better, I've found, and later on I do add a little bit more of the darker blue because that tends to work really well. So that was the Mayan Blue Genuine. Yeah, I'll put a little bit more on here just to bring that sort of granulation over to the top. Just add in a little bit more of the fluid now. And if you tilt it at an angle, I mean, you don't have to tilt it, you could just let it do its thing and see what happens really. So there I just added a little bit darker, a little bit more interest for the riverbank. I felt it was a little bit boring and all one tone. So I'll switch to a rigger brush here with the view to doing some foreground details. I felt it needed a bit of height in the painting. I'm just putting in some grasses. Like I say, it's from my imagination, so you can add what you like when it is that. So I've actually dried it. Oh yeah, I'm doing splashes now, just to give a little bit more loose sort of feel to the painting. And I have actually dried it in between the splattering stage and this stage, so some of my grasses looked lost as it dried. They sort of merged, so I just put those back in. And that's the finished result. Very loose sort of landscape scene with using the granulation fluid. Well, I hope you liked the video. Hope to see you next time.